There is plenty of speculation surrounding the topic that young people do not engage with the news anymore. I believe young people are certainly as, if not more, engaged than their parents were at the same point in their lives. And to prove this point, I will argue that the definition of news is not just the narrow traditional version portrayed as a genre in itself, and also that new formats and technologies have enabled youth to engage in news in more ways than was previously possible. Firstly, though, for the purposes of this argument, I will use Harrington's Week 6 lecture's definition of news, saying it is something that keeps citizens informed about the democratic institutions and other information and events that affect them. Harrington also says in the lecture, almost every quantitative and qualitative study into young people and news consumption has shown that ours is a generation that rejects news. The reason these studies seem to be true, though, however, is simply because they fail to accept that news is more than just a traditional version portraying an objective interpretation of the world around us. Traditional news has always struggled to actually spark an interest amongst youth, but stations are now starting to realise this and present news in ways that satisfy both our want to be entertained at the same time as being informed. Channel 10's 7 PM project is a great example of this new news phenomenon. By using a panel format, it produces an arguably better, more engaging, more democratic and subjective program because there are several different viewpoints being heard on the same topic. Harrington agrees with this, saying the power of the show lies not in its status as an authentic open forum, but in the potential for the show's format to allow audiences to engage in discussions of their own. Another way users stayed engaged with news is through the advent of Web 2.0. This brought the possibility of citizen journalism to the front as a possible news source. It also coined the McNair term, the chaos effect, as it gave voice to the public, allowing them to become a part of the news production process, as well as being able to consume it at the same time. A great example of this is Twitter, as it enables news to be delivered by the public to the public at the exact time the event's actually taking place. And it has also become a popular forum for debate. Mindich argues, though, that when 18 to 24-year-olds were asked their preferred source of news, they rarely said it was the internet. But with an estimated 45 million users that Twitter can boast, it's very difficult to argue Mindich's point, because the amount of people, the amount of youths that are actually using this source for news is astronomical. And because of this, journalists, including those reporting for the ABC, are tapping into this source of news production and consumption to reach the demographic that they have been so unable to actually reach for generations prior to this one. Therefore, as a result of the station's attempts to produce infotainment and with the use of new technologies, the suggestion that young people do not engage with the news anymore is simply not true.